Today let's take a look at the Battlestar Galactica line of toys by Mattel, made in 1978 and 1979 to coincide with the TV series and movie that featured at the cinema. This line of toys came in two waves. On the left we have wave 1, which consisted of Starbuck, Adama, Imperial Leader, the Avian, Cylon Centurion, a Daggett. There was also a second Daggett in a different colour, as you can see here. And on the right we have the second wave, which was Baltar, Beret, Lucifer and the gold Cylon. These figures are pretty good really for their age. In fact, in some ways they are better than Star Wars figures. The face moulding of Adama and Starbuck is really very nice. They really do look like the actors who played them. They just don't have any paint on them particularly. You know, just got a bit of grey hair painted on here. And no other features, but the actual moulding is far superior to the Star Wars figures. The rest of the figure though is actually pretty weak. The body is not that well sculpted and has very limited articulation. The cloth cape is actually quite a nice feature on this guy. Starbuck has exactly the same body, just in brown colour here, as you can see. And both Starbuck and Apollo came with these very small guns. These are probably some of the smallest guns to any action figure, and very easily lost, so finding them loose with weapons is pretty hard going. The first wave of figures featured some nice action figures and some pretty duff ones. The Imperial Leader I would class as one of the duff ones. The face of the character looks very nice, but the body is really pretty poor. Let's have a look at him here. He's just got sort of mitten hands and very pink strange legs. Without the cape this figure does look awful. With the cape it's acceptable, but actually a pretty naff figure. And likewise the Cylon Centurion could have been an excellent figure. The top half looks amazing, the chrome looks good, and he sort of got a pretty good moulding. The letdown is the legs. The legs are moulded in one piece, so there's nothing you can do, there's no posing. He basically has to stand like that, so this really limits what you can do with him as an action figure. Very disappointing if you got this as a child. It looks great from sort of outside the box, but once you get in it's a pretty naff figure. It's a shame because they could have done so much more with this. Next we have the Avian character. This guy only appeared in 2 episodes of the show, but I guess it played quite a major part in the first 2, so it was worth making it into a figure. And the interesting thing about this guy is he has 4 arms, which you don't often see in action figures. So you can see me rotating them all up. It's a very good mould actually. This one looks very much like the creature in the show, and is a pretty cool little action figure. This strange sort of gold cape is very easily torn and broken, so finding them loose with this cape is harder than you would imagine, but they do occasionally turn up. Next we have the Daggett, which was featured quite heavily in the show. This came in 2 versions. You can see here the darker brown version. There was also a lighter tan version. They're both equally sort of appeared in equal numbers, so you can easily get both of these. The only slight issue you ever have with this is the tail. The plastic is very weak at this back point, so more often than you'll find these with the tail missing, so just be aware of that if you want to collect some. The second series of toys are harder to come by. The gold Cylon is just a repaint of the silver Cylon. He's got gold chrome, and the boots there is gold paint on them, but it wears off very easily, and also on his gloves you can see there's just a little bit of gold paint left on this guy. It's much harder to find, so you know, getting them in any condition is better than nothing. Baltar, one of the major villains in the show. Here, his figure is pretty nice actually. Features a bit more paint than some of the other guys, so a little bit more detailing on him. Again, the face moulding is amazing, really does look like the guy who played him in the show. It's a very nice figure. No actual paint on the eyes or anything, it's just all moulding with black paint in his hair. This guy comes with the same gun as Adama and Starbuck, as you can see there. Another character that only appeared in one episode is the Beret. This guy is a sort of, it looks like a man with an orange for a head. And I would say another strange choice for a figure. It's a reasonable sort of interpretation of him in the show. Again, this guy, the legs are moulded in one piece, so although he rotates at the waist, the legs are fixed in this position. There's not much you can do with him. He comes with a club again, which is, as this is the only character that ever had this club, you'll struggle to find a loose one with this accessory. They're more often than not lost, but if you do find one, it's it does complete the collection. And lastly, we have Lucifer, who is the sort of other evil henchman, the sidekick to the Imperial Leader, and one of the sort of the masters of the Cylons. This is quite a good interpretation of the guy from the show. It doesn't really do a lot. It's essentially a tube, as you can see here, with two arms stuck on, although there's not even any hands in the arms. They said it's just sort of folded flaps, and a head that rotates. The top of the head is quite good. It's got some sort of sparkly plastic on it. In the show, the robot had flashing lights under a dome, and this is a reasonable sort of toy interpretation of that feature. So and that's it. That's all the figures. They are a nice set to collect. Getting them carded will cost you a fair bit, but you can find some of the early ones carded. Here is my Imperial Leader. The card artwork is pretty nice. Features the Battlestar Galactica at the top being attacked by some Cylon raiders, and each card features a different piece of artwork of the character. Here you can see Imperial Leader. It's quite a nice painting. Actually looks better than the figure. On the back of the card, this is a Wave 1 card, so you can see it features the 6 different characters there, and it actually shows the lighter Daggett. The brown Daggett does come on this card as well. Overall, this is a pretty good selection of characters to collect, as it's quite a limited run, and you can find them fairly easily. It makes a good display piece anyway. Thanks for watching.